Hello, I am Allie, and
I'm AJ.
And this is the inaugural episode of Not That AA. And haha, I know, clever, because both of our names start with A. And we are the podcast arm of Game Over Therapy. And you can check us out on YouTube and our Twitch stream. And the information will be in the show notes. So basically, this is just a random channel talking about gaming and other issues that we just come across in our daily lives. And feel free to leave us comments on subjects you want us to cover, and feel free to chime in with your opinions.
So since there's two major game things that just happened, I think this podcast we're going to cover the Game Awards and then PlayStation Experience.
And that is excellent. It's a great idea.
So let's start with the Game Awards. What do you think of the Game Awards overall?
Well, I find award shows pretty boring for the most part, just overall. Like, I don't watch the Emmys, I don't watch the Oscars. At least with the Game Awards, I am familiar with the games. Mm-hmm. There were a few really amazing announcements that I kind of jumped out of my seat for. And there were some upsets too, so I'm sure we'll discuss those.
So I have to give my hat off to Jeff Keighley, though. He only started doing the Game Awards last year. Before that, it was the VGA on Spike. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, that was terrible. I didn't like that at all.
They would have like random celebrities come in and then do these really corny like introductions. And it's just like, what are they doing?
I remember that.
Yeah,
definitely.
and then you spend the whole thing just kind of like dragging it out, and then there'll be this 3-hour event and everyone's just like losing their minds. It's like, what's the point of watching this?
Yeah, my little brother used to make me watch it all the time.
But this year's been really good. He's shortened down the show from 3 hours to 2 hours, and it's a good balance between, I think, award winners and new announcements. So that's the big thing that people watch the Game Awards for, right? They want to see, the world exclusive.
Yeah, and what's coming up. I mean, as gamers, you want to see what is going to be available in the coming months. You know, what to get excited for, what to save up your money for if you're broke as fuck like we are. But, yeah. Especially
this year. There's a lot of games this year.
Oh, my God, yes.
Can't even possibly keep up, even if we had the money. I mean, there's Metal Gear Solid, Fallout 4. They're all, like, extremely long games.
Yes.
So, let's get to it. So, one of the things that came out in the beginning was Uncharted 4 footage. So, supposedly there's this new character, some female chick, I don't know if you remember, and then she was beating the crap out of Nathan Drake. So I wonder what that's all about.
Yes, that was hilarious. She looked kind of like Scary Spice.
So I don't know if she's supposed to be like a new villain, or if she's supposed to be like a new love interest, or...
I don't think that she'll be a new love interest or villain. I think it might be one of those like twisted romance things where maybe she starts off a bit as an adversary for him, but then helps them in the end. They find out that they're fighting, the same enemy, and, the planets align and the stars, circle planets or whatever corny romantic shit gets thrown into the mix. I think that they're going to end up having, romantic feelings or a romantic encounter.
To be fair, nothing can top the corniness of Star Wars romance. So...
Oh, you mean from the prequels?
Yeah, that was terrible.
God.
Annie, I'm dying. You make me so sad.
What a waste of Natalie Portman, let me tell you. She's such a brilliant actress. And
that scene made me have heart palpitations. I was so mad. But anyway, that's something that we can look forward to. Uncharted 4, I believe it's coming out next year in March. So... and the beta is coming out, I think, in a couple of days here, the multiplayer beta. Actually, I think it's already out, so for those of you who got the Nathan Drake collection, you have access to the multiplayer beta. Although I've never really been a fan of the multiplayer. I mean, it's all about the story, right? It's all single player. So the next thing that they talked about was Rise of the Tomb Raider now has a DLC, the Baba Yaga DLC, which I thought was a joke at first. Like, Baba Yaga? It's like, what's that?
What? Refresh my memory. I don't remember that.
So
I must have napped or something.
It's supposed to be this new tomb that you explore, and it's supposed to have some kind of like mystical origin and mystery you're supposed to discover. I think there's some kind of like mysticism in the DLC, and I don't think it's really related to the full game. Although I can't tell you because I haven't beaten the game yet, because there's way too many games on my backlog right now. I'm still trying to work on Fallout 4, and that's taking forever. But anyway, I just thought the name of the DLC was funny. And that, I think, is the main DLC for Rise of the Tomb Raider. And outside of that, if you have the season pass, it's just a bunch of like outfits and things like that, which is really no use to anyone. So the coolest thing I thought was when Shaquille O'Neal stepped on stage.
Fuck yes.
And,
Shaquille.
And then he was like, I think it was funny because he told everyone that he hid like a free copy of games under their seat.
When he said that, obviously it was a joke.
Yeah.
But I was jealous as hell. I was like, oh my God, Shaq Fu is coming back and all these assholes get a copy of it and I don't.
Well, it turns out it was a joke.
Yes,
but
I feel better about that. That makes me feel better.
Have you played the original Shaq Fu?
I played it at my cousin's house like years ago. I mean, because it's an old game.
Yeah.
So I just remember it being like one of those things where it's corny, but it's funny at the same time.
Those are the best type of games to play with friends. They really
are. Yeah. And especially like if you get, at least with my family, it was a bunch of us cousins getting together. And most of the cousins around my age are guys anyway, and we would just play video games a lot. And it would just, the fights that broke out. I mean, really nostalgia around the holidays right now. So
I mean, I think people that are a little bit older like we are, who's played video games for a long time, kind of saw that coming when he walked out. Because like, what else could Shaquille O'Neal possibly be doing at the Game Awards?
Exactly. I knew it. As soon as he stepped out on the stage, I remember telling you, it's like, oh my God, Shaq Fu.
And the trailer was badass. It looked really fun.
It looked amazing, and we look forward to that game coming out and playing the hell out of it.
So, some other things that they talked about, of course, Telltale is releasing a new game. At first, I didn't know what it was. It was the Batman trailer.
Yes.
And I guess it was referencing like Bruce losing his dad. And I was like, this looked like it could be a very good game. And then Telltale's name popped up. And I was like, oh God, not another game from Telltale. I mean, their games are good. Like they did, Game of Thrones, which we did a stream on. They did a bunch of stuff based on old TV shows. They did Tales of the Borderlands. But the thing is, I feel like they're beating a dead horse. I mean, they're using the same engine, and it's basically the same game with new skin over and over. And I wonder if this is the last straw.
I think So at first, I share your disappointment with it being a Telltale game, because when I saw it, I thought it was going to be kind of like a graphic novel take on the Batman series. Kind of like, think of, Batman Arkham Asylum had a love child with Sin City, like with Frank Miller. And that's what I was expecting when I saw the little intro video for it. And now it's pretty much an animated choose your own adventure. And I think that the people who like reading those as a kid, choose your own adventure, really like the Telltale games, because then you feel like you're shaping the destiny of everyone. And it's, like you said, it's the same engine. And so it can get a little tired after a while. There's like you said, with Game of Thrones, there's a little action here and there, but it's mainly like watching an episode of TV for me. So
I think the most disappointing thing is when we really played the Game of Thrones episode 1 or season 1, and it felt like the decisions you made shaped the story, but at the end of it you felt like there's no possible way they can tie up the story in season 2. I mean, depending on who you picked, you saved like 2 or 3 characters, or you can lose all of them. So how are they going to tie that up? They're probably going to do something stupid like, 5 years later, I remember when that happened. You mean
like a time jump?
Yeah. There's no other way they're going to tie it together, because, it's like, well, say, spoiler alert, if you picked to save Asher, you're like, well, shit, Lord Whitehill is still alive, whereas if you didn't, and then you would have killed him,
You should have said spoiler alert.
Yeah, I thought I did say spoiler alert.
No, you didn't.
Okay, well,
yes, sorry,
if
everyone.
If it's spoiled, I'm sorry.
Which is bullshit, because Asher is the hotness, and he should have lived, and he should have killed Lud. Okay, that's just me on my soapbox.
Well, I mean, and it feels like none of the choices you make will make any significant lasting difference. But anyway, let's move on. Another game they showed was Far Cry Primal, which they've shown a trailer of, I think, a couple months ago. And this is kind of a spin-off of Far Cry series.
Yeah.
And now you're in the prehistoric age, I guess?
I was kind of confused. So, but I've never really been a huge fan of the Far Cry series to begin with. So, I mean, maybe that's blasphemous for some people, but...
Well, the
not
biggest
really my
thing
thing.
is it's an open world game, and now they're going to prehistoric times. So instead of like cool jeeps and guns and rocket launchers, now you have spears. And the weirdest thing is, I don't remember if you saw the trailer, but it was like guys like controlling the animals. It's like, oh my god, it's a warg. I was like, I guess they got their inspiration
Speaking
from...
of Game of Thrones, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe I'm guessing it'll be like a rental, you know.
If we have time.
If we
I'll
have
probably still be playing
time.
Fallout
If we
4.
have time and I happen to drive by a red box on the way home or whatever, something like that. Like I go out and I'm like, you know what, I want some fucking Cheetos. Oh, I think I'll pick up Far Cry.
Yeah.
One of those type of things.
So the next thing is Psychonauts 2 was announced. A lot of people are really excited about this, but I think the biggest thing that disappointed me was I think this crowdfunding thing is getting kind of out of hand. Like, you have all these big-time developers, they're like, oh, we like to crowdfund to fund our game development, and they end up developing it anyway, even if they don't meet their goals. So, I mean, like, what's the point of crowdfunding everything?
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing it. I mean, I think in the end they're doing it to offset costs and stuff, but I don't know. I think people who are really fans of the game, which I am not, I've actually never played it, kind of get to feel like they had a hand in it, like a hand in the development, and it becomes kind of, in a small way, their little video game baby. And so I understand the allure of it, and I would understand why someone would contribute to it. But like you said, in the end, a lot of these are going to get, funded anyway, especially if it's something popular, as opposed to, like, I would be much more in favor of, like, smaller development companies that are maybe, like, 3 guys in someone's dining room, crowdfunding and having a really cool game or something like that, as opposed to an actual, full-on company doing it. It seems a little tacky.
So a quick shout out, speaking of small development, Prison Architect on Steam is a great game, and it's developed by a small group of people, and they've been funded through Steam Greenlight or something like that. But it just recently got released, and it's a really fun game.
Oh, wait. I thought were all the ones that we were playing were betas?
They were all betas.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I am going to have to, like, enthusiastically promote Prison Architect. It is hilarious. It's like a combination of, like, SimCity and the actual Sims game, because you can control these little people. And, it's for the psychopath in all of us, But it is a really fun game. If you guys haven't played it before, definitely try it. It's one of those really cool games where, since there isn't a big elaborate storyline, it's just you running a prison and doing sadistic stuff to people. You can play for, 5-10 minutes, 4 hours, whatever you have time for, and then you can set it down and, like, do whatever else you need to do. So I think that's really cool, the flexibility of it.
So the next thing is, I think this is the biggest controversy, and we'll talk about this before moving on to the PlayStation experience, and that's Hideo Kojima, I'm sure you've heard, had some kind of controversy with Konami, and it was incredibly disappointing that he couldn't be there to receive his awards. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but Jeff Keighley explained that because of the lawyers at Konami, they told Hideo Kojima that he was prohibited from showing up to the awards to receive awards for his own game because of some bullshit employment contract.
Yeah, wasn't it the non-compete or something? Something having to do with the non-compete? I don't know.
It doesn't even matter. Like, even if you're a lawyer, right, you can't possibly think this is good PR for your company. Like, this is not a good move on Konami's part. They already burned so much goodwill with all the gamers. This is just like the final straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah.
Exactly. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous and really a travesty. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised no one talked them out of it and been like, you could get a little good faith by letting them go to the awards. And I don't know. Right now, public opinion
is at an all-time low.
Yeah, well, public opinion for anyone can make or break them.
Yeah.
And so having this kind of bullshit, I don't know, it seems like a ridiculous punishment, Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I didn't.
There's so many controversies surrounding that, but anyway.
Whatever. Moving on.
So the one I want to talk to you about the most is PlayStation Experience. So they just started this last year, and they usually have a keynote at the beginning where they announce a bunch of things. And this year, overall, how do you feel about the keynote?
I honestly, I tried to pay attention to it. I paid more attention to the announcements than the actual speakers themselves. That might sound weird, but I'm one of those people who fell asleep in class but still knew what the topic was. But I thought PlayStation Experience was a lot more interesting than the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
And there was definitely things to get excited about.
So I think while it wasn't a bad conference, it was a very mediocre one because I feel like they didn't announce that many games. So the most important thing is they only announced one first-party game, and that's Uncharted 4, and people already knew about this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but Uncharted 4 now has dialogue options. So I wonder if they're going to have different branching story points now for Uncharted 4. So that's interesting.
I'm hoping that there's also joke dialogue options.
Yeah.
Say you meet someone and you need to ask them for fuel or something like that. Something mundane, and you have the last option to tell them to go fuck themselves or to slap them, with a chicken or something random. That I would really get into.
It's too bad you're not getting saved today.
Yeah, that would be a great drunk game to play.
I don't think they would do something that out of the ordinary, though.
Okay, well, listen.
As cool as that would be.
If any developers are listening, they should take my ideas, because that would make the games a lot more interesting. Okay.
So,
sorry.
a game that we kind of knew about, but I gotta say, I wasn't interested in it until Randy Pitchford came out to talk about it, and that's Battleborn. Mm-hmm. It's Gearbox's next game. They, of course, are known for making Borderlands. And the funniest thing is the Toby.
Yes.
The penguin
Toby.
in the mech suit. That was hilarious.
It's so funny because he has this cute little voice, but he says these horrible things I am death. Look upon me with fear, and it's great hearing it from a penguin.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the biggest thing, especially as a gaming couple, they're bringing back couch co-op, and that's something that's been dead for a long time. So it's great to see them bring back couch co-op.
Exactly, and even if you're not in a couple or whatever your arrangement is, if you're with roommates or even with family, especially now around the holidays and stuff like that. Couch co-op is something that offers a lot of options, and it can be fun for a lot of people. Mm-hmm.
So, besides that, I think one thing that really surprised me is PlayStation VR didn't have as big of a presence as I thought. It's coming out early next year, and they announced all these really weird games. So, Eagle Flight from Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, basically. Right.
From the point of view of the eagle.
Yeah, basically.
I said that it was like if the eagles from Lord of the Rings made a video game. Basically.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I can understand I think I agreed with you. I think I originally said the Lord of the Rings thing, and then I agreed with you when you saw the little town below. And I was like, it looks like an Assassin's Creed.
I feel like that would be the most boring game. It's go fly as an eagle with 5 of your friends. I would start snoring if I started playing a game like that.
At a bonus level, better be rescuing hobbits from Mount Doom. That's all I have to say.
And let's see what else. 100-foot robot golf. That was bizarre.
It's bizarre, but it looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of references to Gundam and Evangelion for those that are anime fans. Mm-hmm. Ace Combat 7, which I think looks really cool, but I would get really dizzy playing a fighter pilot jet in VR. I mean... Yeah,
it's something that I would be able to play just on a normal screen, but in VR, I think the motion sickness thing would kick in. I pop a few Dramamines, chase it with a beer, and then go for it.
So I think the standout game really is, I apologize if I get the name wrong. It's Work Simulator or something like that. And you can like throw coffee around. I think that's the killer app for VR right now, hands down.
Yes, Work Simulator. I am so completely excited about it, especially because you're playing as this robot, right?
Yeah.
That's taken over jobs that originally people had. And I just got a kick out of him pouring coffee in one cup and sugar in another one and like just really knocking back the coffee and then chasing it with that cup of sugar. I mean, that is what sold it for me.
It's
hilarious.
Like all the office pranks you ever want to do on your most hated office mate, and you can just like do it in the game or something like that.
It kind of reminded me, I don't know if anyone has played the Adult Swim games online, the older ones. Like I think there's one called 60 seconds to 10 minutes to kill yourself or something like that. Excuse me if I get the name wrong, but you're like running around the office like stapling your face and stuff like that. That it made me think of that a little bit.
Wasn't that an Adult Swim game? I think it wasn't it? It was like a Flash game, right? Yeah,
it was an Adult Swim Flash game, and they used to show advertisements for it, while watching Family Guy and Robot Chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had to play it, and it's really funny.
And last but not least, Ni no Kuni 2. That was, I think, the biggest announcement at PlayStation Experience. And we got it on the PS3. It's a really long game, but what really grabbed me about this is it's made by Level 5, which is known for making, I think, the Professor Layton series.
Yes,
and
the ones
also,
that I'm too stupid to solve. That's true.
It's a fun game though. It's a fun game, and also they did it in collaboration with Studio Ghibli. And so I think someone put it best. It's like as if the guy who made the Totoro movies made a Pokemon game. That's basically what it's like.
Really? Because I wasn't really into the original Ni no Kuni. I don't know. To me, that comment is a little heavy-handed.
You think so?
I think so, but I don't know. Maybe I just have terrible taste. Maybe I do.
It also starts out kind of slow, so
maybe I'll give it another chance and play it through again before the new one comes out. So that's fair.
Okay, so that concludes our PlayStation Experience thoughts, and we just want to talk about favorite games that we played this year so far. So we played a lot of different games from Until Dawn to Lego Dimensions. My personal pick is Until Dawn. I think it just kind of surprised me because it kind of came out of nowhere. Sony kind of left this game to die. There's no advertising, and
that was really tragic.
I just kind of rented it from Redbox, and I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's kind of like if you guys remember Heavy Rain, if you took that and combined it with I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, that's exactly how I would describe it. And I loved Heavy Rain, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, those are great, 90s scary movies. So
I think that's the standout game for me this year. How about you?
I'm gonna probably have to agree with you. I really, really loved Until Dawn. I mean, and I'm part Native American, so I liked the idea of bringing in the totems. And I didn't know about the evil spirit, the Wendigo. Spoiler alert if you guys haven't played yet, but I'm not going to say what a Wendigo is. I never get tired of that game. We've played it through a couple times. We watched one of our friends play it through, and it's just, there's so many alternative, not really alternative endings, but like alternative story paths that you can follow. And there's actually a good helping of gore in it too. Yeah. And stuff that will genuinely make you jump out of your seat. But it's not like watching Saw. Like some things that might be too much for some people to handle, but it's just the right amount.
So I think my favorite thing about it too is like Heavy Rain, whenever you make a choice, it's permanent. You don't go back and restart from the save point. Yeah. So like it feels like in like the Telltale game series, you actually leave lasting consequences when you make a bad decision. Yes. And this is not really a spoiler, but just so you know, you can save everyone and you can also kill everyone. And like towards the end, I was like, yes, I'm saving half my group. And I made one fatal error. And then everything just got like, it just went to hell after that. So yeah, that can be really frustrating.
But I am going to have to go for like a second place spot. I'm going to have to go with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I love the setting. I'm really interested in Victorian times. I think for those of you, for guys who are listening, if you have a girlfriend or you're trying to impress a girl, she might really like this game because girls really like the whole Victorian era type thing, steampunk stuff sometimes. And I thought the backdrop was more interesting than the French Revolution that you saw in Unity. And also, the protagonists of the game are really attractive.
They're a lot more interesting. They're more lovable than who was the last one? Arno.
Arno.
It was just like, who's this French prick? It's like just a spoiled like little kid that was like running amok.
Well, I think they kind of brought back that lovable roguishness that you saw from Black Flag with Kenway. And I mean, I loved Black Flag. That's another game that, I can play over and over and over again, just because I'm obsessed with the sea shanties. But yeah, I liked Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I thought Jacob was really hot.
I like Evie Fry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They had genuinely attractive characters, and they had good personalities that you really got into, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, so to conclude our show, we're just going to do a random question of the day where we answer a random question. And in the future, listeners, if you want to suggest a question of your own, we'll answer it on this podcast.
And let me give a little background to why we added this last little segment is because those of you who live in moderate to large size cities that sometimes traffic can be an issue. And for us, we definitely have a lot of, commuting and traffic issues. So this is usually just something random that we thought of while we were sitting in traffic. So since I'm a huge Family Guy fan, I thought it would be appropriate for our first random question to be, what grinds your gears? So if you haven't seen that episode of Family Guy, see it. It's funny. Go for it, AJ. You do it first.
Oh, there's so many things that grinds my gears. Let's see. Where do I even start? Well, since we're doing a game episode, let's do a game-related one for me.
Okay.
So what really grinds my gears is the fact that all games now are so reliant on DLC. And there's microtransactions and everything. Like in Assassin's Creed, for example, back in the day when you played Assassin's Creed, you could find everything on your own. Sure, you can do that in Syndicate, but now they're like, oh, we won't show you the full map of where all the helixes are, the helix glitches. But you can spend $20 and we'll reveal it for you. And I'm just like, what the hell is that all about?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like games aren't like the way they used to be. I mean, back in the day when you bought a game, you got everything in the cartridge. Not to date myself, but yes, games used to come on cartridges. And that came with everything you needed to enjoy the game. Whereas nowadays, it's like, oh, I want that outfit. Oh, that's only $199. Or, I want to explore this tomb. It's like, well, you can explore it if you pay us $3.99. Or this will come out in a future DLC. That really drives me nuts. And I feel like, yes, I understand that developers need another source of revenue. But come on, sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah, I can understand that. Let's see. Mine, I think I'm going to do a work-related one.
Okay.
And this always makes me cringe, is people who don't wash their hands after using the restroom. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I know it happens all the time, but it's even worse when you see it or hear it. Because then it's like, oh my God, I can't touch the fucking door now. And that just really, because it's like, what are you going to do after that? Are you going to eat something? Are you going to, touch someone else's hand? I guess I'm mildly germophobic. But, and I know people say like, well, if you touch the doorknob anyway, there's still germs, blah, blah, blah. You should still wash your hands after, doing your business. It's just a common hygiene thing. I mean, and that just really grinds my gears. It really pisses me off. This
is why I always grab a paper towel to turn off the faucet and grab the door, because I know what kinds of crazy crap people touch and then touch the doorknob. To top that, what really drives me nuts at my work is that someone will come out after taking like the nastiest dump, right? The whole bathroom like stinks, like someone dropped like a skunk in there. And they'll come out and they'll look at the sink for a little bit and they'll look at you straight in the eye and they'll be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna wash my hands," and they just like walk straight out. I was like, what the hell?
It's like they were contemplating whether or not it was important that you knew how filthy they were, and they're probably like in their head was like, "Man, this guy's not that important, whatever. I'm just gonna go."
God, especially if it's someone like you kind of know, and they're like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to see you again." It's like, I don't want to shake your hand in the bathroom.
Full of shit.
I know, literally. You can see like the shit stain dripping off of their fingers. Not really, but you imagine it in your head.
Exactly. You imagine the worst case scenario.
Well, anyway, thank you for listening to our first episode of our podcast, Not That AA. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. If you're interested in listening to our podcast, please comment or subscribe and leave us a like.
Yeah. And thank you so much to listening to our craziness. And we hope we can at least keep you entertained for a little bit.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.